Okay, this week we are looking at standards, and our assignment was to unpack a standard. And what actually is unpacking a standard is taking the standard and breaking it down to see exactly what it's asking us to do, or it's asking the students to be able to do at the end of the units. I did choose a standard. I chose an 8th grade physical science standard from Georgia. And we will look through this presentation and just break it down a little bit and show you how I will present that standard to my students. So the standard that I chose to look at is standard S8P1. And it says to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about the structure and properties of matter. The source comes from the Georgia Department of Education. And it's the state standards in Georgia. It's the Georgia Standards of Excellence, which Georgia changed last year. Why I chose to work on this standard is because the standard encompasses most of the content that will be revisited in each unit throughout the school year. Now, the big ideas to take away from the standard are the following. You must be able to tell the difference between pure substances and mixtures. You must be able to tell the movement of particles, whether solid, liquid, or gas. You must be able to show the difference between a physical and a chemical property of matter. You must be able to show the difference between physical and chemical changes. You want to be able to read and gather information from a periodic table and model atoms using the elements of the periodic table. And lastly, you must be able to understand the process of the law of conservation of matter in a chemical reaction.
Skills students should develop. After completing all the components in this standard, students should be able to gather, analyze, and share information using the following skills. Develop and use models to compare and contrast. Plan and carry out investigations to compare and contrast. Construct an argument based on observational evidence. Develop models. And last but not least, construct an explanation based on evidence.
Projects are activities that engage students. Conservation of matter, baking soda, and vinegar lab. This lab will show students that matter is not created or destroyed, and it simply changes forms. The students will all be given a balloon and a plastic bottle. The students will measure a set amount of baking soda and vinegar in measuring cups. Each item will be weighed. The vinegar will be placed in the bottle and the baking soda will be placed in the balloon. The balloon will then be attached to the bottle. The baking soda will be emptied into the bottle and a reaction will take place. The balloon will inflate. The bottle will be measured again and the same weight we started with should be read. This proves that the contents didn't disappear. It just changed forms. Law of conservation of matter.
Assessing and progress monitoring. Students will be given an activator each day. The activator will be related to any information covered by the previous day. Using the data from the activator will group my students accordingly in either thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down groups. My thumbs up group will be advanced, while my sideways group will be given supplemental mini lessons to bring them up to speed. My thumbs down group will be pulled during lunch for remediation and practice. The student will be given a formative assessment every Friday. This assessment format will vary. The data collected will drive instruction for the week that follows. At the end of the unit, the whole group will be given a written summative exam to demonstrate that they know all of the components of the standard.
So unpacking the standard this week has really helped me know exactly what the standard is asking me to teach the students. It lets me know what the students need to be able to do and at certain checkpoints and when the students should be able to demonstrate those skills. Looking at the standards from Georgia, it is really easy because it's kind of cohesive across the board. They want the students to be able to demonstrate, to be able to obtain, to be able to analyze, and be able to tell me exactly what they learned. So that's the deconstruction or the unpacking standard S8P1 in Georgia.